What if your life could begin to change? Not in 5 years, not in 5 months, but in just 1 week? Not because of some miracle, not because you suddenly became lucky, but because you changed a few simple habits. You see, life doesn't usually change all at once. It changes quietly, in the mornings, in the routines, in the little decisions nobody notices. That's where your future is being built. And most people miss it. They wait for motivation. They wait for inspiration. They wait for the perfect time. But let me tell you something I learned many years ago. Your life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change. Small changes, simple disciplines, repeated daily. That's the secret. Now, I used to think success came from big opportunities, big breaks, big connections. But I discovered something far more powerful. Your habits shape your destiny. The way you wake up, the way you think, the way you use your time, the way you speak to yourself, all of it matters. Because every habit is casting a vote for the person you are becoming. Now listen carefully. A bad habit repeated long enough becomes a prison. But a good habit repeated long enough becomes freedom. And here's the exciting part. You don't need to change everything overnight. You just need to start with a few things done consistently. That's how transformation begins. One habit, one action, one disciplined day at a time. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. That sentence changed my life because it made success feel possible. Not easy, but possible. You don't have to be extraordinary to start. You just have to start. So, I'm going to share with you 5 habits that began to transform my mindset, my confidence, my productivity, and my future in just 1 week. Simple habits, but powerful ones. Habits that help me think clearer, work harder, focus better, and believe bigger. Now, don't underestimate simple things. A plane moves just a few degrees, and it ends up in a completely different destination. That's what habits do. Tiny shifts, massive results over time. So if you've been feeling stuck, distracted, unmotivated, this message is for you. Because maybe your life doesn't need a complete overhaul. Maybe it just needs better habits. Let's begin with habit number 1. And let's see how quickly a life can change when a person finally changes themselves. Let me tell you something simple, but very powerful. How you start your morning often decides how you live your day. Not always, but most of the time. Because the morning is not just time. It's control. It's direction. It's where you either take charge of your life or let life take charge of you. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. And waking up early is one of those disciplines. Not because it is popular, not because it is easy, but because it gives you something most people never have. Time to think, time to prepare, time to grow. You see, most people wake up already behind. Alarm ringing, phone buzzing, mind rushing, stress starting before the feet even touch the floor. And just like that, the day is no longer theirs. They are reacting, not creating. But successful people, they do something different. They wake up before the noise, before the demands, before the world starts pulling on their attention. They create space. They create clarity. They create momentum. And in that quiet space, they take control of their life. Let me ask you something. What could you do with 1 extra hour every morning? Not rushed, not distracted, just calm, focused time. Read something that strengthens your mind. Think about your goals. Plan your day with intention. Work on yourself before the world works on you. That 1 hour can change the direction of your entire life. Now, I want to be very clear. Waking up early is not about suffering. It's about self-respect. Because when you wake up early, you are saying something powerful to yourself. I am serious about my life. I value my future. I will not waste my potential. That's what discipline looks like in action. You see, there are two kinds of pain in life. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. And waking up early falls into discipline. At first, it is uncomfortable. Yes, but so is staying stuck in the same place for years. One pain builds your future. The other destroys it slowly. Let me share something I learned early in life. I noticed something about successful people. They don't wait for motivation. They act on structure. They don't say, I feel like it. They say, this is who I am. And that identity begins in the morning. Because how you win your morning is how you begin to win your life. Now think about this carefully. When you wake up early, you are not just gaining time. You are gaining control over your thinking. And control over your thinking leads to control over your actions. And control over your actions leads to control over your results. That is how life is built. Step by step, day by day. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. And waking up early is one of the first steps on that bridge. But let me warn you about something. If you only wake up early for a few days and then stop, you don't build discipline. You build inconsistency. And inconsistency is dangerous because it teaches your mind not to trust you. But consistency, even in small things, builds something powerful. Self-trust. And once you trust yourself, everything changes. So start simple, not extreme, not overwhelming, just a decision. I will wake up earlier than yesterday. I will take control of my morning. I will start my day with intention and then do it again tomorrow and again the next day. Because success is not built in big moments. It is built in quiet mornings when nobody is watching, when no one is clapping, when it is just you and your discipline. That is where your future is shaped. So remember this. If you want to change your life, don't start with the whole day. Start with your morning. Because when you own the morning, you begin to own your life. And that is habit number 1. Wake up early and take control. Let me tell you something very important. Something most people never truly understand. Your life is only as good as the information you feed your mind. Not your talent, not your background, not even your circumstances. But what you consistently allow into your mind, that shapes everything. Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. That's one of the most powerful lessons I ever learned. Because school may teach you how to earn a living, but life rewards those who continue to learn long after school is over. And that learning, that growth, that transformation, it starts with a simple daily habit, feeding your mind. Now let me ask you something. What are you feeding your mind every single day? Are you feeding it ideas or distractions? Are you feeding it wisdom or noise? Because make no mistake, your mind is always eating something. Even when you are not learning, you are still consuming. Social media, negative conversations, endless entertainment, constant distraction. And slowly, without you noticing, it shapes your thinking. And your thinking shapes your life. You see, a weak mind is not created in one day. It is created by repeated neglect, day after day. No learning, no growth, no reflection, just consumption without purpose. And over time, clarity disappears, focus disappears, ambition fades. But here is the good news. The same way a mind can become weak, it can also become strong. And it becomes strong the same way a body becomes strong. Daily training, daily discipline, daily feeding. Let me say it slowly. If you want a better life, you must first develop a better mind. And if you want a better mind, you must feed it better thoughts. That is why reading matters. That is why learning matters. That is why reflection matters. Not because it is trendy, but because it is transformational. Start small. Read 10 pages a day. Listen to something that teaches you. Spend time with ideas that challenge you. Not everything you hear will entertain you, but it will build you. And that is the difference. Entertainment fades, but education transforms. Let me give you a simple truth. You become what you think about most of the time. So if your mind is filled with fear, you become fearful. If your mind is filled with negativity, you become negative. But if your mind is filled with growth, you become someone who grows. It is that simple and that powerful. Now listen carefully. You don't need hours every day. You don't need complex systems. You just need consistency, a little learning every single day. Because small inputs, repeated daily, create massive change over time. Think of your mind like a garden. If you don't plant anything, weeds will grow on their own. But if you intentionally plant good seeds, ideas, knowledge, wisdom, then your life begins to produce something different, something better, something meaningful. But here's the challenge. Most people are too busy consuming noise to grow their mind. They scroll endlessly, but they don't study. They watch everything, but they learn nothing. And then they wonder why their life doesn't change. But life always responds the same way. Garbage in, garbage out. Growth in, growth out. So make a decision today. Feed your mind like your future depends on it, because it does. Choose what you read. Choose what you listen to. Choose what you allow in, because every idea you accept is shaping the person you are becoming. And remember this, you cannot think a better life with a weak mind. You must build it, strengthen it, feed it, day by day, page by page, idea by idea. So habit number 2 is simple. Feed your mind every day, because what you feed it will eventually feed your life. Let me tell you something very direct, very simple, but very powerful. Your life is made of time. And once time is gone, you never get it back. Not partially, not in pieces, not even for a moment. It is gone forever. Time is more valuable than money. You can get more money, but you cannot get more time. Now think about that. If you lose money, you can earn it again. If you lose an opportunity, another may come. But if you lose time, you lose life itself. And yet, most people waste it. Not all at once. Not in big dramatic moments, but slowly, quietly, daily. On things that don't matter. On conversations that lead nowhere. On distractions that give pleasure, but no progress. Scrolling, complaining, comparing, procrastinating, little things that slowly steal big futures. Let me ask you something. How much of your day is truly intentional, and how much of it is just reaction? Because there are 2 kinds of lives. One is designed, the other is distracted. And the distracted life always feels busy, but rarely feels fulfilled. Don't spend major time on minor things. That's one of the greatest lessons I ever learned, because most people are exhausted, not from meaningful work, but from meaningless activity. They end the day tired, but not proud, busy, but not better. Now listen carefully. Your time is your life in motion. Every hour you waste is a piece of your future you are giving away. And the hardest part is, you don't notice it happening. It feels harmless. It feels small. It feels just for a few minutes. But those minutes add up. And suddenly, weeks are gone. Months are gone. Years are gone. And you look back and say, where did the time go? Let me be very clear. Success is not just about doing more. It is about doing what matters. Not everything deserves your attention. Not everything deserves your energy. Not everything deserves your life. You must learn the art of elimination. Ask yourself every day, is this building my future? Or is this stealing from it? Is this making me stronger? Or just keeping me entertained? Is this aligned with my goals? Or just filling my time? Because clarity changes everything. When you value your time, You become selective. You stop saying yes to everything. You stop entertaining every distraction. You stop living by impulse, and you start living by purpose. Now let me say something important. Great people are not great because they do everything. They are great because they ignore what doesn't matter. They protect their time like it is sacred, because it is. Every successful person you admire has simply mastered one skill: focus. What you give attention to grows. So if you give attention to distractions, your distractions grow. But if you give attention to growth, your life grows. It is that simple. Now I want you to imagine something. If you took just 2 hours a day and removed all meaningless activity, what could you become in 1 year? What skill could you build? What business could you start? What discipline could you master? Most people don't lack time. They lack focus. So here is the habit. Start saying no more often. No to distractions. No to unnecessary noise. No to things that don't move your life forward. Because every no protects your future. And say yes to what matters. Yes to learning. Yes to discipline. Yes to building something meaningful. Even if it is uncomfortable. Even if it is quiet. Even if nobody notices. Because in the end, you will not regret the time you spent building your life. You will only regret the time you wasted avoiding it. So remember, this habit 3 is clearly. Stop wasting time on meaningless things. Because your future is not built in big moments. It is built in what you choose to do every single day. And the question is simple. Are you investing your time or just spending it? Choose wisely. Let me share something with you. Something that separates those who grow from those who stay the same. Most people are not stuck because they lack ability. They are stuck because they are waiting. Waiting for confidence. Waiting for clarity. Waiting for the perfect moment. But let me tell you something very important. The perfect moment never arrives. You don't get paid for what you know. You get paid for what you do with what you know. Now think about that. Knowledge is not the issue. Information is not the issue. The real issue is action. You see, many people believe they need to feel ready first. I'll start when I feel confident. I'll begin when I have more experience. I'll take action when I'm sure. But life does not reward certainty. Life rewards movement. Let me say it slowly. Action creates confidence, not the other way around. You don't think your way into a better life. You act your way into it, step by step, mistake by mistake, lesson by lesson. Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. That is a powerful truth, because wishing for easier conditions keeps you dependent on circumstances. But deciding to become better puts control back in your hands. Now listen carefully. Every expert you admire today was once a beginner who was not ready. They didn't start confident. They became confident through action. They didn't wait for courage. They built courage by doing difficult things. Let me ask you something. How long have you been waiting? Waiting to start. Waiting to speak up. Waiting to take the first step. And what has that waiting given you? More clarity or more confusion? More progress or more regret? Because waiting feels safe, but it slowly becomes a trap that looks like preparation, but feels like frustration. You see, life responds to movement. When you move, things open. When you act, clarity comes. When you try, learning begins. But when you wait, everything stays the same. Let me give you a simple truth. You don't need to be great to start, but you must start to become great. That is the order of life. Not perfection first, not certainty first, not readiness first, action first. Now think about your goals, the business you want to start, the skills you want to learn, the life you want to build. Ask yourself honestly, what have you been postponing? And more importantly, why are you still postponing it? Most of the time, it is not fear of failure. It is fear of starting imperfectly. But let me tell you something. Everything meaningful starts imperfect. Every success story begins with uncertainty. Every strong person was once unsure. The difference is simple. They started anyway. Success is not something you pursue. It is something you attract by the person you become. And the person you become is shaped by your actions. Not your thoughts alone. Not your intentions alone, but your consistent behavior. So here is the habit. Take action even when you don't feel ready. Not reckless action. Not random action, but purposeful action. Small steps. Daily steps. Honest steps forward. Send the message. Start the project. Make the call. Record the video. Write the first page. Do something. Because doing something is always better than doing nothing. And let me tell you something powerful. The moment you act, you break the chain of hesitation. And once that chain is broken, you begin to see yourself differently. Not as someone who waits, but as someone who moves. That is where confidence is born. Not in thinking, not in planning, but in doing. So remember this habit 4 is clearly. Take action even when you don't feel ready. Because readiness is not a feeling. It is a result of action. And the life you want is waiting on the other side of your first step. Let me tell you something very few people ever understand. Your day does not end when the work is finished. Your day ends when you understand what the day taught you. Because life is not just about living through experiences. It is about learning from them. The major key to your better future is you. And that better future is not built randomly. It is built through reflection, through awareness, through small, honest adjustments every single day. Now listen carefully. Most people repeat their days. They wake up the same way, think the same way, act the same way, and wonder why nothing changes. But here is the truth. If nothing changes in your thinking, nothing changes in your life. That is why reflection is powerful. Because reflection interrupts repetition. It forces you to pause, to observe, to question. And in that moment, you begin to grow. Let me ask you something. At the end of your day, do you ever stop and think, what did I do well today? What did I waste time on? What can I improve tomorrow? Or do you just move on without learning anything from the day? Because if you do not reflect, you do not improve. You only repeat. Success is not to be pursued. It is to be attracted by the person you become. And who you become is shaped in moments of reflection. Quiet moments, honest moments, personal moments. Now let me be very clear. Reflection is not about judgment. It is not about guilt. It is not about punishment. It is about awareness. It is the ability to look at your day and say, this worked. This didn't. This I will improve tomorrow. Simple, honest, powerful. Because when you reflect, you begin to see patterns. You see what is helping you and what is holding you back. You see where your time went and where it should have gone. And once you see clearly, you can change intelligently. Now here is the next step. After reflection comes reset, because it is not enough to know what went wrong. You must reset your mindset for tomorrow. You must let go of the mistakes of today so they do not become the burden of tomorrow. Every night is a chance to reset, to clear your mind, to release frustration, to let go of failure, and to prepare again. Because every sunrise is a new opportunity, but only for those who are mentally ready to receive it. And then comes the final step. Improve. Not dramatically, not perfectly, but slightly, just a little better than yesterday. A better decision, a better habit, a better response, a better mindset. Because success is not built in giant leaps, but in small improvements repeated daily. Let me give you a powerful truth. Discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. And reflection helps you see that clearly. It helps you decide what matters. It helps you align your actions. It helps you stay on track. Now think about this. If you improve just 1% every day, over time, you would become unrecognizable. Not because of one big moment, but because of consistent refinement. That is how greatness is built. Quietly, daily, deliberately. So here is the habit. At the end of every day, pause, think, reflect, reset. Ask yourself, did I move closer to my goals today? Did I grow as a person today? What will I improve tomorrow? And answer honestly, because honesty is where growth begins. And then let it go. Do not carry yesterday into tomorrow. Do not carry failure into your future. Do not carry confusion into your next opportunity. Reset your mind and begin again. Because life is not about perfection. It is about progress. And progress is built one improved day at a time. So remember this final habit clearly. Reflect, reset, and improve every night. Because the quality of your reflection will determine the direction of your life. And if you do this consistently, you will not just change your week. You will change your entire life. Let me leave you with this. Everything we talked about, it was never complicated. It was simple. But simplicity is where most people struggle. Because simple things require something powerful. Consistency. Wake up early and own your morning. Feed your mind every day. Stop wasting time on meaningless things. Take action even when you don't feel ready. And reflect, reset, and improve every night. 5 habits. Small disciplines. But when practiced daily, they don't just change your routine. They change your identity. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Now think about that. Not occasional effort, not random motivation, but daily discipline. That is what builds a life. You see, most people underestimate what they can become because they underestimate what small habits can do over time. They think change must be big to matter. But the truth is, small things done consistently become extraordinary over time. Now let me ask you something very important. What happens if you don't change? What happens if you keep repeating the same habits, thinking the same thoughts, living the same patterns? Your life will not improve by accident. It only improves by intention. And that is why this message matters. Because you now know something powerful. You are not stuck. You are not finished. You are not limited. You are simply one decision away from a completely different direction. But knowledge alone is not enough. You must act on it. Not tomorrow, not next week, but now. Because every day you delay is another day your life stays the same. So take these habits seriously, not as motivation, but as a blueprint, a system, a way of living, a direction forward. And remember this final thought. Your future is not created in one moment of inspiration. It is created in thousands of small moments of discipline. Moments when nobody is watching. Moments when it is hard. Moments when you choose to do what is right instead of what is easy. That is how success is built. Quietly, consistently, unshakably. So go forward with this understanding. You don't need a new life. You need new habits. And if you change your habits, you will inevitably change your life. Stay disciplined. Stay focused. And never underestimate what a few simple habits can do over time. Because in the end, your life will always reflect one thing. What you do daily.